Welcome inside the RIZE Sports Complex as we continue our coverage of RIZE Basketball here in 2025. Today it is Team RIZE against Steeltown in 15U action. Hi everybody, I'm Matt Fargo, joined alongside the WPIAL legend Johnny Patrician. Happy to have you along in our broadcast coverage. JP, RIZE coming off a really productive weekend, Easter weekend, with some big wins. They took down Best West Virginia in a close game and really were able to finish it out on Saturday. An abbreviated tournament with, of course, Easter Sunday, no games being played. But now looking forward to another good weekend of basketball, and it starts here tonight.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Friday night for AAU basketball is always the kickoff to a weekend. So I'm excited to see what RIZE has in store here tonight for Steeltown. And, what a better place than to be here. I mean, this is a gorgeous facility, so I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, your first time getting to walk in. What was your first takeaway coming through the doors here?
I think I said, wow. And I got a smoothie to go with it.
Yeah, they're good. They're good to go with it. We'll have to see how Team RIZE is going to be able to continue to really showcase what a lot of these guys did in the high school season. I mean, a lot of these guys now rising sophomores, and so much of the team that played varsity ball contributed all the way to a state runner-up, went all the way to Hershey, lost in the state championship, one shot away from being state champions. And now this is where you put the work in during the summer to try to get back to Hershey next school year.
Yeah, AAU basketball is all about development and improvement, and it's always fun to see, when you go back to your school league, how much better you got from the year prior. And this is the meat and potatoes of that process.
All right, Mamadou Kane. We used to saying his name all summer, jumping against Tanner Burke. Steeltown and RIZE underway, and ball poked out of bounds quickly to the basketball. Josiah Martin knocks it out. And that will allow RIZE to have the possession.
Let's see what Steeltown's approach is to the defense here. Starting off a man-to-man.
Kane inside, turnaround on the left hand, it rattles home. First points of the evening go to Mamadou Kane.
Steeltown pushing the pace.
Triple that falls, nicely done. Noah Feltz hits the triple. 16-minute quarters here in the AAU circuit. 35-second shot clock. Runner on the baseline falls for Connor Tull.
Connor Tull there, nice drive along the baseline. Get that floater up. That's a shot that if you can perfect, it can be really effective.
Far side wing, it's Martin. Swings it up top. Feltz lets another one go. This time doesn't fall. Rebound ripped away by Southall. Escorted ahead. Guyton underneath amongst two defenders is fouled, and Jameer Guyton will go to the line here for RIZE at the 15:03 mark of the first.
Really like the pace here for Steeltown so far. If they're getting up the court, I think that's in their favor. They want to push the pace. They don't want to make this a half-court game.
Off the mark on the first there for the 6'3 sophomore. RIZE maintains the advantage here. Far side corner that doesn't fall. Rebound still loose. Taken away. Tall escorting it, moving it ahead to Guyton. Guyton down low. Moved it back up top. Good ball movement. Tall thought about it. Steps inside at the foul line off the back iron. Rebound underneath. It's Mamadou Kane on the recycle.
Good job by Tall there to look at the basket. A lot of young players, when they get the ball, they don't look at the rim. And if you're the defender there, you know he's not shooting. But when he looks at the rim, he's always a threat out of the triple threat position.
Three from the near side wing, drained by Noah Feltz. His second one of the evening, ties things at 6. Guyton on the near side wing, up top to Tall. Tall on the left hand. Hands it off. Drew Steele, an iconic performance in the state title game. He handed it off to Guyton, who couldn't finish on the right hand. Push back up ahead in transition. It's Feltz. Feltz, deep shot. Martin way downtown for Josiah Martin.
Steeltown effective so far from beyond the arc, Matt.
That's all their points. Here's Tull. Good ball movement. Southall left the back screen door unlocked. 2 points.
Nice vision there for the easy bucket. Great pass.
Martin guarded by Steels. And Steels hacks that away and pushes Martin towards the boundary and loses it out of bounds. RIZE basketball. First substitution of the evening goes to Logan Deeds. Martin takes a breather. Steels hands it off Southall inside Mamadou Kane. 3 going up against him, and the big fella is fouled. And it's hard for those big guys to get the fouls called on them, but the little guys were just hacking away at him.
Down there amongst the trees.
The Canes, it's probably not much like trees, more like shrubbery.
Yeah.
Steals on the inbound. Far side. Guyton contested but finishes.
And for Steeltown, that's going to be the challenge in this game, is to not allow the ball to get into the paint. RIZE has a clear size advantage in this matchup.
Guyton relentless to the basketball as Burke had some trouble with it. Was able to get it away to Gupta, who had checked into the game. Up top, number 3 on the way for Feltz, and he finishes another 3 on the evening. And the lead goes to Steeltown, 12-10.
Feltz has been on fire to start this game.
Here's Southall. Kane cutting to the basket. Spin move to get into the lane on the left hand. Yes. Gupta moved it back outside. Another 3 on the way for Feltz. This is the first one off the rim on the heat check there for Noah Feltz. Take a look at a couple of the last baskets there. You saw Kane. As Kane works now inside. Triple team, was able to move it back outside to Guyton. Guyton on the baseline, not enough. Poked away and saved nicely there by Steeltown. They'll get the possession. Tallarico on the left hand goes all the way to the rack, switches to the right, misses the layup. Rebound to Jameer Guyton back up the floor in transition. He goes coast to coast, tries to finish, cannot. Southall is there, right place, right time. Mamadou Kane moved it outside. Tall and open look for a triple off the front of the rim, and a foul on RIZE away from the basketball.
Great pace here, Matt. You sound like an auctioneer describing the pace here.
And we're all knotted up at 12. Deeds orchestrates the offense.
Slowing it down a little bit. Steeltown's getting into their half-court game. Let's see if they have a play set.
Inside, up strong is Bresler. He comes up empty, and here comes Steels back up the floor. Steels lowers his shoulder, draws contact, and is fouled.
No shooting foul here.
Nope, on the floor. Tallarico gets scored for the foul. It's Brandon Pickett doing the inbounding duties. Here's Nolan Reed. Reed feeds Kane. Kane triple teamed and still goes up, misses one. Bucket and the foul on the recycle of his own garbage.
And one three-point play the old-fashioned way. You know, this is a play on words that I'm sure you knew I was going to mention during this broadcast.
Once or twice.
For Mama Duquesne. You think Duquesne's looking at him?
I've never had the thought, JP. But as funny as it sounds, we did see Drew Joyce at one of the Swickley games earlier this year. So
maybe
there was method to the madness there. Of course, head coach Sharman White and his connection to USA Basketball. These guys are well coached.
Yeah, they got a full staff here. All in issued team gear, official, Jordan uniforms. Wish my AAU team had that stuff when I was growing up.
Yeah, assistant Greg Sircone and Mike Fitzgerald are both a part of the Swickley staff. Reed, near side wing corner, doesn't fall. Put back opportunity, kiss off the window for Isaac Sumari. Pushed back up Gupta on the far side wing, right side. Doesn't fall for Gupta. Rebound ripped away.
Steeltown's cooled off here in the past couple minutes. They're going to need more of those threes to stay in this game.
Deep three from Pickett, doesn't fall. Tipped off a few hands. Rebounded nicely by Bresler. Deeds eyes up a three and finishes.
Right on cue.
Can't leave them that wide open.
No, you can't. RIZE is going to have to be more aggressive on defense and start picking these guys up at half court.
Reed threw that one away. It got intercepted, taken away. Back up the floor comes Deeds. Deeds cross-court pass to get it to Gupta. Gupta on the right hand, stops his dribble. Floater on the way, doesn't fall. Bresler misses a shot. Loose underneath. Bresler again pulls it away. Martin throws up a shot, and that falls for another three. Josiah Martin, timeout RIZE, as Steeltown has come to take the lead at 18-17. Timeout RIZE is the litany of threes raining here for Steeltown.
Litany is a understatement. Jeez, oh man. But, most shooting sprees like that can't last an entire game, so we'll see how long they can stay hot. But RIZE needs to be more aggressive on the defensive end, especially with their on-ball defender.
18-17, Sharm White talking to his group. And, one of the biggest things that, you talk about getting better and developing as a player, it's still 15U basketball.
You're
and
right.
there's lapses in judgment, and there's, those mental miscues. That this is the time that you perfect it.
Yeah, and this is the time to try things that you usually wouldn't try in a school league game, or a WPIAL game for that matter. That's how you get better and learn what you can and can't do, and what you can't do right now, keep doing it until you can do it.
Here's Pickett out of the timeout. Creasy got it away, three on the way. That does not fall for Nolan Reed.
Steeltown's running thumbs up here. Let's see what this means.
Deeds bouncing it over to Tallarico to the far side corner, and Burke driving Gupta and drawing a foul is Bresler. He'll go to the line with 8:33 to go in the first half. Converts one of two. Chris Toll fouled on the way up, so Toll to the line.
Lefty runner there, close to going in. He likes that baseline.
Opportunity here for the 5'10 sophomore. Be a sophomore next year for the Panthers.
it's so quiet in here with no student section or anything like that. But during these free throws, you could hear a pin drop.
Yep. Oftentimes makes it more difficult than
1,000%. Yes, it does.
Student section chanting at you. Near side wing three. That one does not fall. Back comes Rise. Three for Sumari. Doesn't go. Rebound Gupta, but taken away neatly there. Steal and score for Chris Toll.
Nice basket there by Tall to be aggressive and go right up with it right after he gets the steal in the backcourt. A lot of guys would have thrown it back out there.
Gupta over to the far side wing corner, and Burke off a few hands. It was Bresler on the rebound that keeps Steeltown with it momentarily. Moved it outside. Gupta looks for a three, and he hits another. This team cannot miss from beyond the arc. One-point game. Reed outside to Toll. Near side Pickett.
Kenny's brother.
Cutting to the basket.
Nice pass.
Far side Sumari. And a double dribble. We did subs. 5 in, 5 out. Another look at the Chris Toll steal and score.
Quick hands there in the backcourt. And that's what Rise needed. They need to force some turnovers in the backcourt, and that's what Toll exactly did.
Coaches praised his defense. There's Connor Toll with the steal.
Another steal by the Toll. Just a different one.
Twin brothers. Guyton lost that one. Gupta came away with it. Gupta trying to dribble through a phone booth. He was able to, as Bresler finally got the loose basketball. Being hounded right now. Belts, he's hit a couple triples tonight. Spinning inside, back out to Gupta. Gupta runs the baseline, bounces it into traffic. Somehow, some way, a shot gets up. Tallarico, it was blocked. Here's Southall. Southall lays it up and off the rim. Gupta the rebound. Outlet pass to push it up ahead to Tallarico. Inside, an off-balance shot that falls for Tanner Burke.
Great touch on the floater there. Got some nice arc on that shot.
And a foul away from the basketball as Rise was setting up the offense, trailing by 3, 24-21. As Josiah Martin re-enters the game for Steeltown. Inbound is triggered in. Drew Steele does the honors there. Here's Mamadou Kane. Thought about the three. Now he'll drive, lose it out of bounds off of Steeltown and Bresler.
Bresler getting physical with Mamadou Kane down there. That's what you're going to have to do when you have the size disadvantage.
Tall in the corner to Guyton, and now Southall, who is fouled. And that'll be the 7th foul against Steeltown, so that will send Southall to the line. Southall, while he shoots, Sharman White calls the other 4 over to him.
Don't see this often.
No.
A little in-game team meeting. Matthew, do you know what the significance of the 23 on the floor is? The second best player ever? Is that why that's there?
Are we going to open up that debate? But that is why it is there, to my knowledge. These courts named after iconic players. Made it to the highest level.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So is there a LeBron court?
It's a good question. I guess it could be all in the same, right? Okay. There's a Mamadou Kane. They're going to call a travel on him. Will take away the basket.
Yeah, he lost handle of the ball a little bit when Feltz went for the steal. Just needed one more dribble in there.
Feltz got it knocked away. Nice steal. Tall comes away with it, and he'll push it up the floor. Tall. Southall now. Back out to Guyton, who looks to trigger a triple. Doesn't go. Burke the board. Here's Martin into the corner. Tallarico up top, Burke. Now to Tanner Burke, who settles. Feltz in the corner, looks for another three. This time he comes up empty. Southall the rebound, led it ahead too far. As taking it away was Feltz. Feltz a long pass to get it to Martin. And Martin either lost that out of bounds or he was fouled. He was fouled. We'll say it was on the floor, however. Martin on the right hand. Moved it back outside. Three on the way for Gupta. That doesn't go. Mamadou Kane chases down the rebound. Here's Drew Steele. Steele looks for a three near side. That doesn't go. Tipped back out to Guyton. To Tall. Nice tip pass. Errant pass there that gets taken away by Tallarico. Tallarico lost his footing. Still in the backcourt. Martin brings it across into the floor. Tallarico to Gupta on the left hand. Handed it back off to Tallarico, who moved it back outside to Feltz for a three, and he drains it.
Feltz has a couple of triples already that have hit. He's keeping Steeltown in this game.
There's a three, drained from the far side by Tall. Connor Tall answers.
Connor Tall, the three-point specialist, doing what he does best.
Like what Connor's adding to his game. As he'll get the outlet pass here. Bouncing inside, we'll get an assist as Southall puts in the two.
Really good find there on the baseline. A lot of players there would have forced it into a tricky layup.
RIZE retakes the lead, 28-27 with 3:14 to go. RIZE basketball continues here on JRM Sports. Take a look at some of the last scores from Team RIZE. It's a great pass from one of the fans to the official there. You saw that in slow-mo. Great feed. Tall to Southall. We see Sharman White. He was the court coach at the 2025 USA Men's Junior National Team in earlier this month at San Antonio. Named the head coach back in 2024 of USA Men's U17 National Team. They went 7-0 and received the gold medal in Istanbul.
Wow.
His experience in the game of basketball, wealth of knowledge for these young men on Team RIZE.
Love to see that around here, especially because Pittsburgh really isn't the known place to be a basketball hotbed.
Places like this certainly will help it continue to grow.
Yep.
That three off the mark. Feltz can't come up with it. Pickett on the far side wing, short. Tracked down by Tallarico, who pushes it up the floor. Little Euro step through the lane. Nice move.
Euro step and floater. Nice combination there.
1 point game in favor. Aaron pass. Gupta on the steal. Behind the back dribble. Ushers it ahead to Deeds. Deeds pulls it out alertly. Gupta moves back inside before moving it back out to Feltz. Feltz got it partially tipped by Mamadou Kane. He came flying out of nowhere. Sumari to Kane, and Kane a little bit too much mustard behind that pass, out of bounds. Steals re-enters for RIZE. Feltz in some traffic was throwing that one up and can't come up with it. Sumari gets the offensive or defensive board. Here's Cracion underneath. Can't get it to go. Another putback opportunity, no good. Mamadou Kane comes in to try to help, and he is fouled. Almost stripped away from that. Logan Deeds was getting gritty in there. Foul goes against Taylor Burke, however. And we'll see Mamadou Kane at the charity stripe with 1:47 to go here in the first half. JP, first time seeing Mamadou Kane, knowing that he's just a freshman, just finished his freshman season, now a rising sophomore. Like, what do you take away from his game?
Well, he clearly has the size and athleticism. That's what first sticks out. He has a athletic build and frame. Here's a dunk. Oh.
Second time he's got caught with the travel.
Sorry, maybe I spoke too early and jinxed him. But it clearly has a frame that he can build on. I'm assuming he's going to keep growing, obviously.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is. It is. But
6'7".
As he gets stronger, those shots are going to become easier for him outside of the paint, and that's important for him to keep developing a skill set.
Another three, Noah Feltz.
But clearly a lot of potential for the young man.
Puts Steeltown back in front, 32-30. Cracion traveled. Yeah, with the guy that size and this young, the question is, how is his movement?
Right.
That you kind of get those guys who are tall that haven't grown into their own body.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that baby lamb syndrome that a lot of those guys
You're right.
have. Chris Toll back into the lineup for RIZE. Double teamed. Ball's on the ground. And finally, jump ball is called as Deeds was trying to trap the ball with his legs. Arrow favors Steeltown. 55 ticks to go first half. Let's take a 2-minute break and come right back with the second half.
Only a 2-minute break for these guys.
And you.
That's what I really meant.
I know. They're adjusting the clock here. Feltz out of bounds. Ball right on this boundary in front of us.
Good opportunity here for RIZE to finish this half strong, getting their half-court set and get an important bucket.
Kane outside to Toll. A triple. Chris Toll hits the three.
Great shot by Tall there. Much needed for RIZE, but a great pass by Kane once they threw the ball down to him in the post. The double team goes down to Kane, and he throws it back out for the wide open three.
Kane came down with a steal, and then this one turned back over to Steeltown. 25 seconds to go, 1-point game in favor of RIZE. See the three again there. Another turnover back to RIZE. Steeltown hands another opportunity here for RIZE with 15 seconds to go. Chris Tull. Near side Sumari for three, and it's good. 3 from 3.
Nice.
And that's the way the first half will come to a close. 36-32, RIZE in front.
Nice 6-0 run by RIZE. They hit 2 threes in the final minute of the first half to pull ahead in this game. Hopefully that carries over for them in the second half.
And it's converting opportunities. 2 great jobs on the defensive side, getting the turnovers here on this baseline to allow those threes to happen. Converting offense from your defense, important. We're going to step aside and we'll come back with the second half. Our continuing coverage of RIZE basketball here on JRM Sports continues right after this. And we'll welcome you back here for the second half. RIZE Basketball and JRM Sports continues with Johnny Patrician. Matt Fargo here with you at RIZE Sports this evening on a Friday night. Mamadou Kane and RIZE, slim advantage. And they start with the basketball. Shot off the mark by Guyton.
The mid-range jumper, a shot that has left this generation of young hoopers. Carmelo Anthony would be proud.
Well, you knew that Steeltown was coming into this game with a distinct size disadvantage, but the way to combat that is 9 threes, and that's what they were able to do in the first half.
Only 5 points from non-three-pointers.
Yeah. There's a deep three from Tall, and it's pure. Connor Tall.
Connor Toll shot that one from across the river there.
Martin weaving his way through. Tallarico back outside to Feltz, who has hit a few threes, and he hits another one. And that's 10 for the team.
Nice three-pointer off the dribble there by Feltz.
Tall can't answer the answer.
He's going to pull another one.
That one off the mark, but a foul. And he'll go to the line for 3 at 14:44. Feltz hits his first. Two of three. They'll go 2 for 3 at the line. Southall gets the rebound, escorted ahead to Tall. Tall gets that one taken away. Burke was there. Burke leads it ahead. Feltz misses the layup. Put back opportunity by Burke doesn't fall. And a rebound taken down by Drew Steele. Steele's up the floor on the right-handed dribble to the rack. Steele can't get it to go. Put back opportunity for Mamadou Kane. Martin, meanwhile, moves it to the far wing. Feltz another look for 3. That one's off. Guyton gets this board. Here's Tall on the far wing, bouncing it inside to Kane, returns the favor, moves it out to Steele. Steele with the 3. That doesn't fall. Kane underneath, though, the recycler.
Great unselfish play there by RIZE. The best option for them starting their offense is throwing it into Kane. And he will find the open man out of that post there. I've been really impressed by his passing ability from the block.
Martin. Burke contested, found the awaiting hands of Bresler. Feltz penetrates on the right hand, can't get it to go. Kane rolling down. Steele was there. And Steele will get it over to Mamadou Kane. Guyton driving right hand. Can't get it to fall. Bresler to Tallarico off the mark on that shot. And it's Mamadou Kane tracing down the loose basketball. And now Steele is fouled. Gupta checks back in for Steeltown as well as Deeds. That inside, it's Kane.
Steeltown has transitioned to a zone defense here.
Kane off the window and the swirl. Almost a steal there by Tull. Shot that goes off the mark. Pulled down by Southall. Nice move by Drew Steele. Can't get it to fall, and then the put back beautifully by Rob Southall.
Nice reverse by Southall.
10-point lead, largest of the night for RIZE. 12 minutes to play here in the second half. 3 on the way for Tallarico, and they had another timeout taken by Steeltown to cut the deficit to 7. And that old adage, JP, live by the 3, die by the 3. Certainly coming to pass here tonight. And if Steeltown wants a chance at staying in this game, they're going to have to hit more of them.
I'd say right now they're surviving by the 3. That's staying alive. But they're going to need to hit a few more of them if they want to have a chance at this thing. But RIZE's bread and butter has been beneficial to them so far, and just not panicking that this is a close game. Some teams, they get bothered by that when they are heavily favored, and that they mess up even more when the pressure rises. But play on words, rise. But I like how they're coming out here in the second half, aggressive, doing what they do, throwing the ball in the post and letting Kane operate from down low.
2 more games for you on tap here on JRM Sports tomorrow, 12 and 2, back here at RIZE. More RIZE basketball tomorrow afternoon. Errant pass gets taken away. Steeltown settles it. It's Deeds getting it over to Tallarico, and now Gupta. Belts. Guarded by Tull. Man defense here by Connor Tull.
Great defense by Tull. Nice hands.
3, though, hit by Ryan Gupta. Right as the shot clock were to expire, which we really haven't seen any interference with the shot clock.
I was confused for a second. I was like, did somebody press a button or something?
Outside Southall tracing it down and found finally Brandon Pickett out to Tull for 3, and it's good. Connor Tull hits another triple.
Great shot by Tull, much needed for the RIZE team there. And on the defensive end, he's getting after it, fronting his defender to make the entry pass harder, and it ended up paying off right there. Good play on both ends of the floor by Connor Tull.
Gets a forced travel on the other side. Connor takes a much-deserved breather. Chris Tull still out there, and he was going to get the ball, and they're going to say there was a foul on Brandon Pickett right before that. Foul going to go against Samari, and the official gave him 3 times. He said, watch the hands 3
watch
times.
The hands, right. I like the aggressive play, though.
Inbound right from in front of us. Gupta into the backcourt to Deeds. Deeds weaving outside. Tallarico. Gupta amongst the trees, gets rejected.
Nice use of Gupta's pivot foot there. Pump fake, pivot back, go up with the left hand. Unfortunately, it was rejected down there in tree land.
Bresler and a shot clock violation just on cue after we said that there hadn't been any violations the entire game.
Yeah.
The next trip up the floor there is. That is the announcer's jinx.
With no shot clock in WPIAL basketball, it's probably different for these players to, now have that factor into decision-making on the floor. But it is good to have it because most places do have a shot clock. And obviously, at the next level, that's going to be standard for any style of play.
Beautiful pull up there for Brandon Pickett. Feltz will be fouled. Chris Toll picking up the foul. Gupta hands it off to Deeds. Your side wing. Feltz crossing and in traffic. Jump ball. Nice tie up there. Chris Toll getting it congested.
Both Tall brothers are pretty handsy on the defensive end, which is good. They've accumulated a couple steals tonight, creating havoc.
That arrow in favor of Steeltown, though, so they keep the possession. And then shot clock violation. It was reset, but the officials knew what it was.
What's so funny?
The official knew he kept the track of the shot clock that had reset. And he showed a little bit of frustration with the table there.
Uh-oh.
But Rise gets the possession. Gracion fouled on the floor. 8:34 to go here in half number 2. And some subs checking in for Steeltown. Josiah Martin back on the floor along with Tanner Burke.
Matt, as you mentioned the officials, from what I hear, is that there is a need for more officials out there. And, I don't know any personally, but I feel like, that's a good gig for people that are, looking to stay in sports and make a couple extra bucks on the side. It's when I was at Pitt, we actually had a referee from the ACC come in and talk to us, and he was just saying that they need more young people to go into officiating, which I feel like nobody thinks about it.
No, it's a great way to stay into sports. As Mamadou Kane gets the inbound and gets the 2 to fall. A lot of these guys are PIAA officials. We've had college officials officiate these AAU games in a way to keep the chops up throughout the offseason. Falling away there. That falls. Tanner Burke.
They got to stay in shape, just like the players,
All tipped away, loose. Taken away. Feltz the steal and score.
Good job by Feltz there to shield the defender, using his offhand to lay it in. Feltz has had a good night so far tonight.
Steeltown hanging around. Mamadou Kane takes over. Goes right to the rim. Feltz just pulls up another 3. It's 12 for the team. Five-point game. You look up. Largest lead was 10. Pickett. Chris Toll. And a foul. Wow. I don't know where that one was. Eric Cracion getting called for the...
I'll tell you exactly where it came from. A couple possessions ago when there was that foul right in front of us, the coach, Coach White, said to the official, call it both ways because they're using their hands in a way they shouldn't when they have the ball. And that was a get-back call is what that was.
Off the little steal. Cracion gets the steal and score. Martin trying to get into the corner and cannot do so. Turnover there as Southall returns for Rise. Mamadou Kane played most of the minutes tonight. He'll take a breather. And a quick foul here on Martin. Steals. Up the floor for Rise. Cracion fed down low. Southall on the right hand.
Great job by Southall to get himself open on the block there. Steeltown fronted him towards the baseline there, and he used his body to get back in front and ended up for a perfect easy layup for him.
Gupta into Burke. Tipped away and taken away. Southall the steal, let it head. Cracion on the left hand. Largest lead now once again for Rise. 11 points. And a foul inside. It's going to go against Guyton. Another look at Southall finishing. And then dishing. This time Cracion getting the two to go. Belts backing down, steals. Outside, good ball movement. Three on the way. Tallarico, no. Got his own rebound, but it went off a leg. Cracion moved it up ahead to Samari. Samari to Guyton and threw it out off a fingertip of Noah Feltz. Samari. Drew steals. I think we've talked about his performance in the state championship as a freshman was unbelievable off the bench. Bucket good there by Jameer Guyton.
Steeltown got to spread the floor out a little bit here.
Under 5 to play. Deep three. Martin can't connect. Cracion long pass to Guyton. Guyton saves it to Southall and could not save it in time. It goes out of bounds. Back to Steeltown as Connor Toll returns. For Rise.
Steeltown's going to make a run at this thing. They got to do it right now. Let's see if they got some more three-pointers in their bag of tricks.
Hand check foul on Cracion. Seventh foul on Rise, so bonus time for Steeltown the rest of the way. And Tallarico at the charity stripe. missing the first as Mamadou Kane back on the floor. Southall chases that ball down, but then loses it out of bounds. Into the backcourt, Deeds. Oh, man. Put the brakes on and call it travel, but just good to see Deeds pop up after that one.
Yeah. Ugly fall. But I think these kids are still at the age where, like, you can fall and stretch in a weird way and, like, your ligaments and everything,
sure,
everything's good. You just get back up and keep going.
Drew Steals to the rack there. Nice block there. Mamadou Kane. Guyton got it up to Steals. Steals goes to the rack. Kane underneath on the left hand. Two more from Mamadou Kane. Burke. Deeds taken away there by Tall. Led it ahead to Guyton. Guyton gets the two.
Good throw ahead there by Tall. Very selfless player. Always making the correct basketball pass.
A nice heads-up play there by Steals to knock that one off of Bresler. Beautiful take by Steals. See Mamadou Kane. Here's a three on the way. Tall hits a three. You were watching the replays, but in live action, Connor Tall just drained a triple.
They'll have to believe us. And that's not his first or second made three tonight. He's very efficient from beyond the arc. Not a lot of backspin on his shot, but it goes in. I guess you don't need backspin if it goes straight in.
That's it. Rise is pulled away, 73-51 here over Steeltown. A pesky Steeltown team, though.
Yeah.
JP, they
gritty.
Yeah.
They've hung in here the entire time. Almost the scoreboard right now doesn't reflect how they really played tonight, I feel like. Rise has
three steals.
Rise has made shots as of late, but for 3/4 of this game, Steeltown has hung in there.
Fading away, Feltz can't get it to go. And they're going to say Southall stepped on the line, so back to Steeltown. One more substitution with 2:11 to play. You see Chris Toll re-enter the lineup. Isaac Simare, Eric Cracion, Brandon Pickett, and Nolan Reed.
This Rise team is very deep, though. They've gone into their bench all of the game so far, and every player that has come in has been effective. And they're so talented through the depth of their bench that, there's not really one person that stands out in the box score of scoring. They do it by committee.
Cracion gets the two there. And a contested shot that is a foul that will send Martin to the line. It certainly makes Mike Izzolino's job hard. That's the head coach of Swickley Academy who's watching from the stands.
Yeah, that is hard when you have... it's a good problem to have.
It is. Shot of our hoop cam.
No dunks yet so far tonight.
No, we had a couple opportunities. Burke returns for Steeltown. Josiah Martin at the line right now for Steeltown, and he'll roll that second one in. That one went off the ricocheted off the backboard and had a perfect bounce right into Steeltown's possession. Turnover back the other way. Here comes Brandon Pickett.
Rise going to ISO ball here, letting Pickett go to work. Gets to his mid-range jumper. Doesn't fall.
Coming up on a minute to play. Deep three. That won't go for Deeds. Minute to go. Reed on the right hand. Fouled. And that will be a foul coming to Nolan Reed will be going to the line. Converts there for the soon-to-be freshman Nolan Reed. Martin. Three ball. Why not another? Tanner Burke.
Steeltown went cold in the second half here.
That one off the rim there for Rise, but a nice finish there by Eric Cracion.
Nice finish there by Cracion to play the ball off the high rebound. Kind of alley-ooped it to himself from the rebound.
Deep three, that one won't fall for Gupta. And Rise, they'll rise above the competition yet again and take down Steeltown 82-56. Your final score with us this evening. JP, your final thoughts.
Impressive performance on both ends. I will say, very enjoyable being here in this atmosphere. Quite the facility here, quite the showing, but anytime you can watch good, competitive, clean, quality fun here from these kids on their athletic journeys, and to see them develop through this spring season of AAU basketball, that's what it's all about.
Well, more AAU basketball for you tomorrow afternoon at 12 and 2 p.m. right back here on JRM Sports. But until then, for Johnny Patrician and our entire JRM production crew, I'm Matt Fargo saying this has been a presentation of RIZE Basketball and JRM Sports. And RIZE gets it done here this evening, 82-56. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time when we bring you more RIZE Basketball here on JRM Sports.